Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. It's 10:51 Friday night. Bunch of games on the board for tomorrow. We're going to jump right into it. I don't typically do too many night shows, so you guys don't typically get a chance to see my reaction when my bet loses. But I was on Bam Adebayo under his 16.5 points. I talked about 17.5 on the show earlier. The number ended up dropping before I could lock it in. He had a free throw with 42 seconds left to go up and over the 16.5 points. Finished right at 17. Jimmy Butler, of course, gets hurt, which was one of the reasons why I liked it a lot. He was under the number at 74% of his games with Jimmy Butler on the floor this season. Bam goes to the locker room. He comes back. Laceration to the right side of his face. He still somehow finishes with 17 points. Those are the ones that hurt, man. They hurt. That one hurt a lot. So not in the greatest mood, but we're going to get through a couple of the games for tomorrow. A bunch of injury stuff going on. We'll talk about that as well. Not even going to go through like a lot of the comments. What up, Prolific? See you in here. GLB Bet. See you in here. TG says, got to start early. Lines be getting nuked. They do. What up, Chappy? Funk. Music Love in here. Jordan says, I got the Cavs first half full game -120 on DraftKings. No need to lay points sometimes. Glad you cashed it. What up, Cup of Joe? Appreciate you for tapping in. Hot TV Grizz as well. Says he cashed on 4 of his 5 tonight. Appreciate what I do. Yeah, I needed to translate it into some W's for myself, though. Let's jump into it for today. So, for tomorrow. So, first game up is the Lakers and the Kings. We're going straight to jaXon. I asked jaXon specifically about the total. I really want to take under in the game tomorrow between the Lakers and the Kings tomorrow. So jaXon says recent trends, the Lakers have been a defensive force recently, holding opponents under 111 points in their last 4 games. This has resulted in 8 of their last 10 games going under the total. The Kings offense, while the Kings are a high scoring team, the 8th in the NBA with 116 points per game, the offense has struggled against strong defensive team like the Lakers. Head-to-head, these teams just played on Thursday with the Lakers winning 113-100. The game went under 229.5 points. Given the Lakers' recent defensive performance and the Kings' inconsistency, the under looks like the stronger play. If you're looking for the best value, the under 227.5 is available on BetMGM at -105. Slightly better odds compared to other sports books. Now, when I was looking at this total, I do see that. Never mind. I was about to say I didn't see that. I think I got this set at 226.5. It looks like was the consensus, but there's the 227 right now on DraftKings, Bet365, FanDuel, Caesars. 227 is only available on Ballybet and Bet Rivers right now is what I'm seeing. So that's the way I kind of want to play this game as well. When we'll go injury report real quick. Bron and Anthony Davis are both listed as questionable after playing. These two teams, of course, just played against each other last night. Lakers, as jaXon said, won that game 113-110. Typically, when the odds makers set the total lower than the previous total, they're expecting less points. And that game finished just 213 points in that one. So you also got the Lakers, who have been don't look now. Lakers have been actually been a really good team. Don't know how long it's gonna last, so not rushing to bet the under here, but it does line up for under. Lakers beat the Sacramento Kings and the Memphis Grizzlies in back-to-back games. Defensively, they gave up 105 points per game in those last 2 games, and they've been the number 4 rated defensive team over the last 4 games. When I was looking at the Lakers, they've been the number 3 defense over the last 5 games. Number 3 in opponent effective field goal percentage. They're forcing the 11th most turnovers, doing a great job keeping teams off the boards. They're top 10 in that department as well, defending the 3-point line well. And we know with Anthony Davis on the floor, they're going to protect the rim most of the time. They're right outside the top 10 in that specific shot zone as well. So I know that the Kings own the Lakers. They've won 8 of the last 10 games, but the Lakers this season have actually won both games against the Kings after losing 5 straight. And 7 of the last 8. They've actually won both games against the Kings specifically. One of them was in LA. The most recent one was in Sacramento. The game tomorrow is in Sacramento as well. Sacramento coming off back-to-back losses. They lost to Denver with the DeMar DeRozan kind of turnover play at the end. Of course, they just lost to the Lakers after winning 3 straight. They've actually failed to cover 3 in a row. And this is the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Pacers coming to town tomorrow. So take with all the information, do what it is that you want. I did look at just the bounce back spot angle. Since 2021, favorites who previously lost as a favorite playing the same team within the 3-day span do typically win and cover 56% of the time. Not a super high hit rate here. 53, 39, and 3 to the under though. So unders are going, most games are going under about 57% of the time. The totals are staying under. 59% if the previous game went under as well. So if I'm playing the game, I'm looking at Sacramento early. I think they could get some revenge. I think the number's pretty telling as well. I do expect Mike Brown to make some adjustments. I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to keep it up. I'm a diehard Laker fan, as most of you guys probably know. So quick revenge spot, still at the crib, back-to-back little mini series. I do think the Kings come out based on what I was listening to the post-game interview. I think they come out with a little bit more effort and energy early in the game. They did get down early in this game, so I do think that Lakers probably settle for a split. And the Kings do win the game. I'm not sure if they covered 5.5, but if I had to play the game, I would play under 227.5, 227, and I would also play Sacramento early. See what you guys are thinking about this one. We'll go to the next. Me too, Prolific. Me too. Every time I take a player prop and it don't cash, the total or the side always cashes. I talked about it on the morning show. I said it's an OKC. I know it's not an OKC spot. 3rd game in 4 nights. Miami had made a rest advantage, but Miami finds a way to screw me every time I play them too. Laid the 4.5 in Detroit. They lose the game outright. Didn't play the game tonight. Just bet on Bam to go under his points. They lose the game outright. So, that's the way it goes. Detroit did the same thing. Bet the total, up and over against Boston. They can't make a shot. Lean total over last game. Bet Cade Cunningham instead. Nobody else can make a shot, so assist goes under. So I know what that feels like, Prolific. It's just kind of stuck in the mud right now. Luckily, still hitting about 50% of my bets over the last 2 weeks. I feel lucky to be doing that. Let's see. Miranda says, I know the feeling. He hooked me too. I feel your pain. Yeah, it's just, man, it does not feel good. It's not feel good. Chad says, don't like the energy, Chris. Let's go, man. Let's get this cash. 4-1. Day for him. He cashed plus 7 units. I like it, Chad. Glad you cashed, bro. Douglas says parlay Cavs minus 2.5 and Thunder plus 2.5 for plus money. That's my favorite bet, and it cashed. Thanks for all the info. Appreciate you for tapping in, Douglas. I'm glad you cashed that. That was a nice little 2-legger. Cavs minus 2.5. Kind of bought it down a little bit. Moneyball says Kings should have beat the Lakers last night. Lakers might F them up again. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, injury report, like I said at the top, does have Braun and AD both listed as questionable. We'll see if they play or not. What up, Malik? He says Bulls versus Celtics made my Christmas. I was looking at Celtics first half whenever the number drops. Yeah, we'll talk about that game in a second. Chad says locked on the Cavs minus 10.5 tomorrow versus the 76ers, and Embiid already ruled out. We're going to get into that game in a second. Eli says morning and night shows recently started following. Respect the grind. Appreciate that, Eli. Appreciate that for sure. I'm just trying to cash, man. Just trying to cash. Rain says good morning, Chris. It's 6 a.m. in here. Where you at, Rain? Where you at? I'm a Laker fan, but Kings winning tomorrow. Jamal says I kind of agree with that as well. BBP says finally caught alive. Chris be up late. I'm up late sometimes. Yeah, I stay up a little late sometimes. PZ cashed the Cavs first half. Hardenstein double and over his points and rebounds was a happy moment. Glad you cashed that. From Finland. Appreciate you tapping in. Never been to Finland before. I might have to put it on a bucket list. We just said King spots as well. Yeah, King should bounce back tomorrow. That's the way I would play it. Like I said, in the quick revenge spots, I like to play the team early because especially if they started the game super slow in the last spot. I was listening to a couple of the players talk about the game post-practice today, and they talked about having to start the game a lot faster. I think it's been 3 straight games that the Kings have started super slow, so I do expect them to have a little bit more energy, a little bit more oomph about themselves tomorrow when they play the Lakers. We'll see what happens with Bron and AD, but this number is going to move, in favor of the Kings even more. if LeBron and Anthony Davis are already ruled out. It's already up to. It was at 5.5. It's actually up to 6.5 now. So numbers already moving. But I do agree with the total coming down. And I like the under in the Kings early in this spot. All right, let's keep it moving. Next game up, we got no real player props in that game. Player props in that game for me. Really haven't looked at player props at all yet. Next game we got up to the Heat and the Magic. Of course, the Miami Heat just played. They lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder, so second leg of a back-to-back for them. Short travel, of course. This is a divisional game, not just a conference game, but a divisional game. The Orlando Magic have also lost 3 straight games. The only day they have rest was today's game. But this is their 3rd straight home game, so no travel involved here. Injury report says that Jalen Suggs, who did hurt his ankle in the OKC game, he's listed as probable, though. He should be playing in the game. And, of course, tonight, Jimmy Butler left the game against OKC with an illness or ankle. Well, it said illness, but I think it was an ankle injury and didn't return, which is why Bam ended up going up and over his points prop. That's probably going to be one that I feel for a pretty long time, man. Not going to lie to you guys. That felt bad watching Bam hit a meaningless free throw when the game was already over, but neither here nor there. So Jalen Suggs should be out there. Jimmy Butler left the game. Not sure if he's going to play tomorrow. I'm not probably going to play this game until I figure out Jimmy Butler. I would imagine that he won't play, but who knows? Orlando did smoke the Miami Heat the first time that these two teams played. It was on the opening night. I remember being on Orlando +2 in that spot. They beat the Magic. They beat the Miami Heat 116-97. Of course, that game had Paulo Ventura and Franz Wagner, both a part of it. In this game, I have no idea what to do with this game, if I'm being honest with you guys. I think if I had to play something, it would probably be under. I know that the total is super low. It's 208.5. I think, Miami can struggle to score the basketball. We know that the Magic, without Franz Wagner, without Paulo Ventura, also continue to struggle to score the basketball. I think both of these teams do a pretty good job of protecting the basketball. The Magic on the second leg of a back-to-back probably won't force too many turnovers. The Magic can be a little turnover prone, I guess, at times. Let me look at some numbers real quick. This is probably not a game that I'm gonna play, though, if I'm being honest with you guys. Don't want to lay points with Orlando at the crib. They are laying looks like 2 points, 2.5 points. But I really don't want anything to do with Miami, if I'm being honest with you guys. Could they come in here and win this game on the second leg of a back-to-back? Will they take this game serious, being that it's a conference game? Absolutely. The last time that the Magic beat them was on Pat Riley night when they had that long intermission between the halftime, and they got smoked. I'm pretty sure they're gonna remember that. So Miami probably will come to play in this game, but without Jimmy Butler, who knows, man? Who knows? I'm just not a fan of the Miami Heat. That's what it really comes down to, I think. Not a fan of the Miami Heat. So Orlando's offense is they turn the ball over a lot, 26th in turnover rate last 5 games, but the Miami Heat aren't forcing a lot of turnovers, 20th in opponent turnover differential. So they're not forcing a lot of turnovers. Orlando also not pushing pace, 21st in transition frequency, 24th in points allowed per 100 possessions. And then if I look at Orlando specifically on the offensive side of the basketball versus Miami, bottom 5 offensive rated team, both in points scored per 100 possessions and effective field goal percentage. Not shooting the 3 well at all. Of course, Miami's not guarding the 3-point line at all that well at all either. So yeah, I think under makes a ton of sense here. Orlando does like to push the pace to 12th in frequency, but not scoring a lot. Actually, bottom 5 in transition points a lot. Transition points scored. Miami is pretty good at defending the transition defense. So I think I would look towards the under here. I know it's a super low total, but that would only be the only way that I'm playing this one if I'm playing here. What up, Jalen? PZ says, did you cash the BIM? Man, I don't want to talk about it. I played, so the number moved. By the time I could go in and do all the research that I wanted to do, PZ, it moved from 17.5 to 16.5. Better GM actually only 17.5. It moved to 16.5. He had a free throw late to get to 17 points. So I lost the bet. I did lose the bet. What up, Tiger? Says the grind don't stop with Chris. Appreciate all the work, G. Appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Christmas Jammies on tonight. Moneyball says Heat 105, Magic 109. So he thinks it goes over. That's 214 points. I don't know if they score that many. Chad said, man, the Heat dead to me after tonight costing me the sweep. I told you earlier, Chad. I know it's the only one you got wrong, but, man, OKC and a pick'em, I should have just played them. What up, S-Dot? Your Heat are trash, S-Dot, just so you know. Magic or nothing, so nothing, Chad. I'm with you here. That's true. Jimmy did go out. I don't think they were going to win either way, though. But, yeah, that's my opinion. GLB best is I have to look I have a look on the over, but the system has not had a total this low, so probably a pass. Yeah, I wouldn't play it. I'm talking over I'm talking under right now, but I'm not playing it because we don't know what's going to happen with Jimmy. So definitely a stay away for right now. Mitchell says, glad you did a nice show. Get the bad energy out. You will sleep good tonight. Our community is here for you. Yeah, I need to win, though. Mitchell, but I do appreciate the kind words, bro. S-Dot says he will win tomorrow. Don't bet the Magic. Yeah, I understand. Let's move over to that was supposed to be there. Let's move over to another game I wanted to talk about for tomorrow. Just briefly, just really, really quick though, because the injury report in this one is like kind of all over the place as well. So I think it opened up what it is now, 2.5 in favor of the Memphis Grizzlies. They are short road favorites here. I see the total at 239.5 as well. It is some 240s out there already. Also, injury report. We got Ja. He was listed as questionable last game. He ended up playing with the back injury, left the game, and wasn't really needed to return because the Grizzlies beat the Golden State Warriors 144-93. So they didn't need him to come back. Marcus Smart didn't play in that game due to a shoulder injury. He is listed as questionable. Ja Morant is listed as doubtful for the game tomorrow. Jay Huff also missed that game against Golden State. He's already ruled out. And Trae Young on the opposite side is listed as questionable. We'll see if Trae Young actually plays. So the Grizzlies are balling, man. This team is really, really good. Like I mentioned, they beat the Golden State Warriors by what is that? 51 points. Beat them by 51 points the other day. Last night at home, and they're 8-2 straight up, 7-3 against the spread. Got that bad taste out of their mouth since they lost to the Lakers in their last game. You got an Atlanta Hawks team that's coming off an overtime game. Not a great spot, in my opinion. They lost to San Antonio. 7-3 still overall in their last 10 games, 5-5 against the number. Back-to-back losses, though, and non-covers after beating the Knicks in the Cup game. They, of course, lost to the Bucks, and then, go to San Antonio, lose that game outright as well. In the head-to-head matchup, Memphis has won 3 of the last 4. They've covered 3 of the last 4 as well. Atlanta did win the last game that they played last season, though. So it's a difficult game, man. I do kind of feel like even if Ja Morant doesn't play, well, I'm not going to bet the game without knowing the status of Ja Morant and Trae Young, first and foremost. But if Ja Morant is ruled out and Trae Young is ruled in, you may even get a flip of favors here. And I do think that the Grizzlies still have enough depth to be able to go into Atlanta and win this game. I think the longer the game goes on, the more it favors the Grizzlies, with the Atlanta Hawks coming off the overtime game, of course. Will the Grizzlies be a little fat and happy after beating, the Golden State Warriors the way that they did? Potentially. I think the Grizzlies, I don't know if they play on Christmas Day or not, but I know that the Atlanta Hawks are coming off a loss, probably want to bounce back here, but the Grizzlies have so much offense. They are such a deep team. The rotation for these guys is, I want to say, I don't know if they lead the NBA in points scored off in bench scoring, but I know that they are really, really close. The Atlanta offense also, really struggles to shoot threes and make threes at a consistent pace. They are attacking the rim at the 6th best rate, but the Memphis Grizzlies defense is actually number 2 at protecting the rim, number 4 at protecting the paint. So this Grizzlies defense is actually number 1 rated defense over the last 5 games as well. Number 1 in opponent effective field goal percentage, forcing the 4th most turnovers as well. I think it's a difficult time for Atlanta here, especially if Trae Young doesn't play. It would only be Memphis for me. If Ja Morant and Trae Young both get ruled out, I do think you take Memphis in this spot. I think they can keep it going even on the road. Like Offensively, they're playing good. Defensively, they're playing good. And Atlanta's coming off an overtime game. So those are my quick thoughts there. Didn't even look at player props. If it's something y'all want me to look at, y'all just drop it in the chat and I can go over to Outlier and check it out. Backwards says Mike go back to Duncan Robinson over his 1.5 assists. What up, Livestone? Appreciate you for tapping in. Chad says he made some money with Notre Dame. Matter of fact, I need to double check my NCAA bets. Okay, all right, cool. So Cincinnati, I bet Cincinnati minus 2.5. They're winning by 9. That was a winner. I didn't get these out to the members. I'm just trying my luck in NCAA, kind of capping the games, and I did bet Cincinnati to beat Dayton minus 2.5. I put it in the Discord earlier. 8 seconds left. Looks like they're winning by 9. All right, that should be good. And then I had one more bet on BYU minus the 33.5. BYU is. Let's see. I don't think this is updated. What's the BYU score? Oh, BYU won by like 1 million. Okay, great. So I went 2-0 today in NCAA. Appreciate you for I left the tabs up because I wanted to see what happened. Appreciate you, Chad, for allowing me to. So at least I won a little bit of money tonight. Those were a lot smaller bets, but I did win both of those. Needed them. Hawks spread, cash it, Fly Walker says. Hawks BJ says. Yeah, I guess that's that. I guess, man. I'm not high on your Heat. I wonder if he even plays tomorrow. We'll see. Prestigious Prodigy, what's up, bro? Hope all is well with you. Chad says Grizzlies cash cow, but now they're vulnerable on the road. Don't like the Ja's doubtful. The number should go down if Ja gets rolled out, though, Chad. Maybe then we come in on the Grizzlies, but not looking towards the Hawks, even at the crib, especially if they end up being a favorite. BJ says he'll pass. I'll probably pass here. GLB Best says I like the Grizzlies. Waiting for the Celtics game. Prolific says we'll get into that game in a second. Jalen Johnson points and assists has been cash. It's absolutely been cash. I can see it. Could definitely see it. Mitchell says, what about Zach Edey rebounds here? Atlanta is how Atlanta. I don't know. Zach Edey. Let's transition over real quick. Let's hold on. First, let me see if the line's out for Zach Edey. I don't know if I necessarily like Zach Edey in this spot. Atlanta's been, if there's anything that they can do is actually rebound the basketball. I know they were giving up the fewest offensive rebounds, which is why I like them a lot in the cup game against the Bucks the other day. I feel like if they're doing anything, they're not shooting the ball well. They're getting a ton of offensive rebounds. Let's see if we have Zach Edey numbers. No Zach Edey numbers. Only thing I see is first basket right now per props.cash. So I don't even know what the rebound line is. Chad says he does like Zach Edey, though. Points, rebounds, and assists. Chad been cashing. Maybe just tell Chad if the number comes out and you do like it. I'll be looking at some three-point props. Atlanta struggles defensively guarding the three-point line. How many did Victor Wembanyama hit yesterday? He had like 6 or 7 threes, I want to say, in that game. Probably not that many. I'm exaggerating, but I know he shot the ball well from the three-point line. So that's the way I'd probably be looking if I wanted to play. Somebody on Memphis, whoever shoots a bunch of threes, probably gonna make them because Atlanta does not do a great job of guarding the three-point line. Real quick, Victor Wembanyama. I was lying. I was not lying. Victor Wembanyama hit 7 threes last night. 7 for 15 from the three-point line. The Spurs collectively shot 19 for 20 for 42, 45% from the three-point line. So we saw that three-point defense for Atlanta regress exactly back to the mean. Teams after these cup games do not play a lot of defense, man. Does not play a lot of defense at all. Mitchell says he had 6. Vaughn says, he had 7. Yeah, he went 7 for 15 last night. 42 points for Victor Wembanyama to go with 6 rebounds and 5 assists, 5 turnovers, 2 steals, and 4 blocks last night for Victor Wembanyama. Devin Vassell hit 5 as well. So find out who makes the threes for the Memphis Grizzlies, and if you want to play player props, play those. Chad says Bane threes could be a look as long as it's at 3.5, and I could absolutely see Desmond Bane being the guy. He should get a ton of looks, and I don't think we got Desmond Bane props yet either. Let's see. We actually do got Desmond Bane props. All right, so boom, shout out to Chad. I'll bring this up real quick so you guys can see it. All right, so Desmond Bane 3-point prop. And this is Outlier for people that are interested. There's a promo code in the description of the video, or a link in the description of the video. If you want to check out Outlier, you can get a 7-day trial for free. If you're interested in checking it out. But this is Desmond Bane 3-point prop. So over 2.5 threes for Desmond Bane. You can see that he has been shooting the ball pretty poorly in his last 10 games. He's only up and over one time. You see he's cashing 10% of his bets. But you can also see that the Atlanta Hawks 3-point defense is the worst. That's 30th. There's only 30 teams in the NBA if you don't know. So they are terrible against the shooting guard position at 27th. This is not a good 3-point defense. 30th. 38.2% is what they're allowing teams to shoot from the 3-point line. So Desmond Bane 3-point prop, even with all this green, could be the way to look in this spot. Looks like the best number you can get right now is plus 101. Head to head, let's see if last time he played them was 12-20. Almost a year ago. Exactly. 12-23-20. 12-23-23. So last 2 days before Christmas last year. Now he's going to play him tomorrow, 4 days before Christmas. He had 5 threes in that game. And that game was also in Atlanta. So you can see right here it was in Atlanta. So, couldn't talk you off a little Desmond Bane. I'm probably going to write that one down myself. Little Desmond Bane over his 2.5 3-point prop. I do expect the number to move. I don't think this is going to be plus money tomorrow. So shout out to Chad for pointing that out in the chat. Let's transition back and we'll get into the next game. All right, next one we got up is the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So where are my notes? All right, so we got the line I saw was at 3. Let's see, had just moved, didn't he? Yes, it is actually moving. It's up to 4, 3.5 and 4, 4.5 on ESPN Bet. Books starting to really disrespect the Warriors, man, or people starting to really disrespect the Warriors, not buying into what they're selling right now. I was kicking myself a little bit after not playing the Memphis Grizzlies. I said, in the show that I did yesterday morning that I think you fade the Warriors trying to, figure it out with Dennis Schroeder. It could look like the teams that had made some of those offseason transitions trying to get their key players back into the game. And I think that's what we saw. So we got the Timberwolves laying. It looks like consensus right now is 4, but it is some 4.5s out there. This total is on the move up to 216 is what it looks like it's sitting at. So Golden State has lost 3 straight. They lost to the Houston Rockets in the Cup game, got smoked to the Dallas Mavericks, gave up like 400 points in that game, and then they absolutely got obliterated by the Memphis Grizzlies. 2-8 straight up, 4-5-1 against the number in their last 10 games, 7-3 to the under. Offense has looked putrid. They didn't even get to 100 points in their last game. So still trying to figure it out, man. I think eventually they will. I don't think that it's bad. Like eventually they'll regress back to the mean. But right now they're kind of going through it. On the opposite side, Minnesota, second straight home game for them. They're coming off a game where they absolutely got obliterated. The Knicks were getting 2.5 points in that game. Ended up beating this team by 26 to the Timberwolves. And they start a 3-game road trip, which is in Atlanta, coming up on Monday. Anthony Edwards is from Atlanta, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be fired up for that game. Anthony Edwards called the offense out, said, pretty much they don't have an offensive identity. He going to shoot a bunch of shots. Julius Randle going to shoot a bunch of shots, and that's pretty much it. Season series between the two teams is 1-1. Minnesota, they went into Golden State, won their first game by 17 about 2 weeks ago. Golden State, and I think it was 2 nights after that, same arena, got their revenge, beat the Timberwolves, beat them 114-106 in the rematch. But Minnesota has actually been really, really good against Golden State. They beat them 5 straight times before those 2 games. So they've won 6 of the last 7 in the head-to-head matchup. I do feel like the Golden State Warriors, I can't catch the falling knife with the Warriors right now. I don't even know what was said post-game. Pretty sure, they're going to be fired up and motivated after losing by 50. But I need to see, because the Timberwolves also lost by 25, I can't bet against the Timberwolves in this spot. I know offensively they really, really struggled, but they got revenge now because they lost the last game to the Warriors. Also got smoked in this last game as well. Anthony Edwards called them out. I think the if I'm betting on anything to bounce back between the Golden State Warriors offense and the Minnesota Timberwolves defense, give me the Timberwolves defense. The Warriors offense right now is actually worse than the Jazz. They're the worst offensive rate. It was worse than the Wizards. They're the worst offensive rated team over the last 5 games, scoring 104.6 points per 100 possessions, 29th in the effective field goal percentage. Also turning the ball over at the 4th highest rate, shooting the fewest free throws. Like what I'm looking at to my left really looks like the Washington Wizards offense. The Timberwolves, even after giving up, what was it, 100, however many points they gave up to the Knicks the other day, they're still the second rated offensive team, second in the effective field goal percentage, second in turnovers force, 4th in free throw rate, so not sending teams to the line. And the other thing that they do really well is they defend the 3-point line, second in above the break 3-point accuracy, 6th in all 3 accuracy, holding teams below 33% from the 3-point line. Golden State not pushing pace at all, 27th in transition frequency. So, yeah, it would only be Timberwolves, I think, in this spot. I know that the Timberwolves offense hasn't been great, so I'll probably be looking towards an under. I do expect Golden State to eventually be locking up and playing a little bit of defense. This total is very similar to the totals where these two teams played the last game. The first one went under. The second one went over. I would think we would get back a little bit towards an under. I think both of these teams played pretty slow. Golden State, after giving up 134 points in that last game and 140 plus in the game against Dallas, I do think that eventually their defense is going to figure it out. But that's just what the Timberwolves needed. That's what the doctor ordered, is a defense that doesn't guard anybody. And that's what Golden State is right now. 25th in defensive rating over the last 5 games, second worst in opponent effective field goal percentage, and they're giving up the 3rd most offensive rebounds. So they'll figure it out eventually, but Golden State right now, the worst defensive rated team from the 3-point line, allowing teams to shoot 44% in the last 5 games. They are still getting back in transition. That's the beauty of, I guess, the one benefit that you can find here. So, and they're also forcing the 5th most turnovers, but Timberwolves do a pretty good job protecting the basketball. So yeah, it'd be Minnesota. I probably should have got on this one, but I hadn't capped the game, looking at the stuff that I'm looking at right now. You still can get a 3.5 with the Timberwolves minus 112. I do want to go in and listen to the post-game interviews from both teams before I decide to pull the trigger on this one. But 3.5 is available right now on FanDuel. Probably won't be there in the morning with this number going up to 4 and already at 4.5. Let's see what you guys are thinking here. Santi, I forgot about Santi. Vaughn says in that last game, Vaughn says Santi Aldama could end up hitting those threes, and I could definitely see that. I'm right here with you, as that. This is something we agree on. Time to be alive. You 7'30", and you shooting 35-foot jump shots every other play. It's a crazy time in the NBA. What up, Joe? Appreciate you for tapping in. Chad says should get 9 to 10 looks. He can hit 4, and I agree with that. 40%, 35% on 9 to 10 looks. You go up and over to 2.5 easy. You're just playing the numbers. Chad says don't like Gobert in the drop against the motion offense. Put it on the bench and bring in Naz Reid. Let him sit. Let him sit. Maybe he can put Draymond in the chokehold. I don't promote violence. Never mind. TG says Conley under his 9.5 points, short of lockdown defender. Okay. Joe says he found the 8-0 trend on Golden State since 2010 when teams allow 140 points in 2 straight games. Wolves did get smacked recently too, though. Yeah, that's a hell of a trend. I want to see that real quick, Joe. So previous opponent points is greater than 140, and previous opponent points are greater than 140. Yeah, I see 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread. I just added in dog, but I see 6-0. If you've given up 140 in 2 games in a row, 6-0 straight up, 6-0 against the spread. Says Golden State bounces back tomorrow. And this is one of the reasons I didn't play the game quite yet, because I do want to hear what was said. Like I said, the Warriors will figure it out eventually. I just don't know if it's going to come against the Timberwolves, with the Timberwolves also getting smoked. I feel like the Timberwolves have been pretty good against off a loss this season as well. All the NBA is so Jekyll and Hyde right now, though, man. Like, I wish we didn't have so much parity so I could make some money consistently. Timberwolves off a previous loss they're not that great. 6-5 straight up, 5-6 against the spread. Actually, margin is dead even. Scoring 108.7 points per game, giving up 107.8 points per game. They are 3-0 to the under in their last 3 games, though. After not covering in their last game. Okay. Now, I appreciate you for sharing this, Joe. I gotta look a little bit more. Vaughn says Wolves and Warriors. Ew. I'm not betting the Wolves till I see some team building activities. They seem to not like each other. That's funny. BJ says you got to think bounce back for both teams, automatic pass. For me, especially Golden State getting smoked the way that they did. Yeah, I agree with that, BJ. Definitely agree with that. Keontae George is listed as questionable tomorrow, TG, just FYI. I think he rolled his ankle late in that game. That was in the regular season. Chappie says Wolves top 3 team in opponent 3-point made. Yeah, that's the other great advantage, right? It's not that Minnesota can't give up a bunch of threes because that's why my under lost yesterday. The Knicks got whatever it is that they wanted in that game, but Golden State not making threes. And like I said, I kind of feel like it's going to take a couple games to get Schroeder involved. We'll see how long it actually takes, but I kind of think it's going to take Schroeder a couple games to get right. Memphis also probably had that one circled after Schroeder, came in there and thought he was going to be on a new team and was looking forward to the matchup. They were like, nah, you ain't about to do nothing here. Like, yeah, we know you was on the Brooklyn Nets last week. Just because you got a different jersey on don't mean you about to come in here and do anything to us. So I think they got up for the game. Like I said, kicking myself for not playing Memphis minus the 2 before Ja Morant even got rolled in. Let's go to the next one. We got Knicks and Pelicans. Knicks will be on the road. They're laying 8.5 points in this spot. I think it's still 8.5. It's still 8.5 right now. I see 8 right now on Hard Rock as well. Total sitting at 225. It looks like it's the consensus. 224.5 on ESPN Bet. We got a Knicks team. So this game is really, really simple to me. I know that the Pelicans have been a lot better at home. They're 1-9 straight up, but are 4-6 against the spread. This is their first home game after a 2-game road trip. They of course got smoked. We were on the right side of the Houston Rockets in that last game. Talked about liking the minus the 10. Didn't play it because Sengun got rolled out, but I did play the first half when Sengun got rolled in, with the idea that if they didn't cover the first half, I was going to take them full game at halftime. They covered the first half, covered the full game, all that good stuff. The Pelicans, however, have been a little bit better at the crib. I want to say that they are. Let me just tell you guys, so I'm not making it up. They're 4-9 straight up, 7-6 against the spread at the crib. Only losing by about 4 points per game. They got a cover against the Kings, even though they lost. Got smoked by the Thunder. Did cover against the Suns as well. Didn't cover against the Raptors. Got smoked in that game. And I think that was all the games since they kind of got the band back together. Now Hawkins is back. CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram. The problem with the Pelicans, and I said this in the last game as well, which is why I like the Rockets so much, is that the Pelicans, they don't have enough size. If we ever like Karl-Anthony Towns rebounds, it should probably be in this game. And we know, I think it's been 9 of the last 10 games still. He's going up and over his rebounds and assist line. Talked about it in the last game against the Thunder. I mean, against the Timberwolves. And I don't see why it doesn't happen again here. I'm not sure if, let me just double check real quick and see what happened with Daniel Tice. Messi is not enough, in my opinion. He's not enough. Messi was the only center that was like pretty much active in that game. The only thing that you worry about here, and I just want to check and see if Daniel Tice is on the injury report, but the only thing you worry about here, if you do want to take the Knicks, is it a letdown spot off the super big win, right? Do they let down given that they beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in a very emotional game with Karl-Anthony Towns going back, playing his home team? They got Toronto on deck one more time, and then they got the Christmas Day game coming up against the San Antonio Spurs. back at the Garden. So that's the only thing I kind of, is it a letdown spot? 10 points is a lot to lay on the road. 8.5 is pretty much 10. Is a lot to lay on the road. They are coming off back-to-back wins. They beat the Timberwolves, of course, beat Orlando before that after losing the Cup game to Atlanta. Pelicans start a 5-game homestand. Let's see. Let me see if I can just find it. So Daniel Tice is questionable. I see it right now. He's listed as questionable. 4 other Pelicans remain out. And I want to say it's everybody that has already been missing games, but let me just double check it real quick. So Daniel Tice, for personal reasons, upgraded to questionable, which means he's probably going to play. Jose Alvarado remains out. Brandon Ingram remains out. Zion remains out. And then Carlo Makovic, I think is how you pronounce that, also remain out. So they're still going to be without Ingram, Jose Alvarado, and Zion Williamson. I think the Knicks could do it. If the Knicks wanted to win this game by 20, they could. They absolutely could. They already beat the Pelicans by 20. They beat them by 30, actually. Beat them by 33, 118-85 as a 12-point favorite in the Garden earlier this season. I think the game was on December 1st. So 19 days ago, we saw the Knicks absolutely mollywop this team. Took them, mopped the floor with them in that game. Josh Hart didn't play in the Minnesota game for personal reasons. He's off the injury report. I worry about the Pelicans being able to rebound the basketball in this spot if you do like them. The Knicks, like I said, if they wanted to, they could absolutely crush this Pelicans team. If you do like the Knicks, you probably want to get on the number. I do think that this probably closes at double digits, even though the Pelicans play a little bit better on the road. I mean, a little bit better at home. Knicks play a lot better on the road as at home as well. So on the road so far, Knicks are 9-6 straight up, 7-8 against the spread, only winning by 4 points per game overall. But like I said, beat the Magic by 9, beat the Timberwolves by 26. So potentially Karl Anthony Towns up and over his rebounds and assists again. I do think the Pelicans are going to struggle to guard him. Let's just go over to let's go back over to Outlier real quick and look at Karl Anthony Towns. I know we did this yesterday, but let's just look at Karl Anthony Towns again. Let's see if his lines are even available. I didn't even check yet. Books got to start moving the line sooner or later. All right, so I've been playing rebounds and assists. You can see that he's up and over in 8 of the last 10. He's up and over in 5 straight games, 26, 27, 24, 21. I do expect this line to move. I think it was set 16.5 yesterday, so it is up 1 to 17.5 now, as you can see right here, 17.5. If you look at the Pelicans defense, you see that they're giving up the 5th most rebounds to the center position. 5th most rebounds in general. It's not a good rebounding team because they don't have size. They're also giving up the 3rd most assists as well to the center position. You can see how many rebounds they're giving up. 21. They're 21st in rebounds allowed to the center position, but they are allowing the 6th fewest assists to center's position. But Karl Anthony Towns is a different type of center, in my opinion. I wouldn't pay too much attention to this. He passed the ball probably. I'm definitely a top 5 center as far as being able to pass the ball. You can see he has 6 assists here, 5 assists here, 5 assists here, 6 assists here. We go down here at the bottom. You can look at his potential assists, 8, 9, 5, 6, clearly going upwards. So yeah, I like the rebounds and assists to go up and over. If you wanted to play just the rebounds, you can see that he's up and over 13.5 in 9 of his last 10 games. Looks like, what's that? 7 games in a row, 22 and 20. Could not talk you off. Bottom 10 rebounding team are the Pelicans. And you can just look at the rebound opportunities as well. 30, 30, 28, 23, 23, 23, 24. Crazy how many rebound chances that Karl Anthony Towns is getting right now. So couldn't talk anybody off rebounds and assists or just rebounds for Karl Anthony Towns. I think both of those could cash pretty easily in this game. All right, enough of that. Let's go back, see what you guys are talking about in this one, and then we'll keep it moving. I think it might be like 1 or 2 more games I want to get into. Not every single game though. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Joe says found a couple under trends for the Warriors and Timberwolves too. That could be a good look. Schroeder and probably helps the under as well. I agree. He doesn't know the offense, so he's not going to be as efficient. And because we gotta remember the Golden State offense is very dynamic and complex. It's not like they're just out there playing a lot of isolation basketball. It's a lot of cutting, a lot of off-ball stuff. He's trying to get acclimated to be a ball handler. Steph trying to play off-ball a little bit more, which is why he went under on his props, in my opinion, in that last game against the Grizzlies. So I do agree with this. And he's a pretty good defender. So I agree with the under as well, Joe. Especially with the Timberwolves. Timberwolves owe me some money on the under, man. Like, they couldn't stop the Knicks from scoring. So I do expect them to play good defense. On to this Knicks game, though. Trey Murphy, 504, top level, says he likes him, I guess, in some kind of capacity. BJ says, I can see a Knicks letdown here. I can too, man. I really can after beating the Timberwolves. That's one of the reasons why I didn't play the game. Not laying the 8.5, I don't think. Especially, like I said, they got the Raptors up next, and they got the Christmas Day game against the Spurs coming up at the crib as well. DeJounte Murray over his 19.5. Lately been selling, but I want to take it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about playing DeJounte Murray. I feel like, I listened to, what's their coach name? Willie Green, talk about DeJounte having like a big, like just playing like a big role, integral role to the team. Saying he's, asking them to do a lot, trying to be the facilitator, trying to get CJ playing a little bit more off ball, trying to get him to defend, and say, still trying to kind of get his feet wet. He's been getting his feet wet for about 2.5 weeks now. And DeJounte Murray just not making a lot of shots. The Pelicans in general are making a lot of shots. So the under in this game wouldn't surprise me at all either. The Pelicans are, to put some numbers to that real quick, the Pelicans are 20th in points scored per 100 possessions, 26th in effective field goal percentage. They're just not making shots. They also bottom 10 in three-point shots from the corner, from above the break three, and from overall three. Their shots are coming from the mid-range. Long mid-range, 11th and 17th in frequency and accuracy. The Knicks are number 2 and number 10 in those two shot zone, in that shot zone frequency and accuracy. So they probably won't be able to make shots from the mid-range either. Knicks, if they want, like I said, the Knicks want to, they can absolutely smother this team and hold the Pelicans to probably under 105 points if they really, really wanted to. Not sure what energy and effort we're going to get here, though. GLB Best is rested home dogs off a loss as a road dog. Rested home dogs off a loss as a road dog are 30-14 this season, but the Pels have failed me a lot. They absolutely have. Fly Walker says Knicks against the spread, 30-14 against the spread, GLB Best says. Okay. Fly Walker likes Cat over his points, rebounds, and assists. Knicks 116.5, Pels 108. So Moneyball likes the over. I think that would be over, right? No, it'd actually be under. Because that's 224. So under, but he thinks the team can't end up with 216.5 points though. I'm just now noticing that. I'm guessing that's the projection, but they can't score 116.5 points. Got to be one way or the other. Bond said time for the Pels to blow it up. Let's talk about some shirts. I do got some shirts, Bond, if people want some shirts. But yeah, they got to blow it up. It's done. It's over. Finito. Stick a fork in them. The Pels are done. It was a great experiment. This team has won 5 games so far this season. New York and Carthy Towns over his rebounds. Brian says good looks here. Josh Hart over his points. But OG over his 14.5 points as well. God is my boss says he's going Bridges in some form of way. Didn't say how he's going to play him, but likes Bridges. All right, let's keep it pushing. Not a game I'm probably going to end up playing. Next game we got up, I think it's maybe 1 or 2 more I wanted to talk about. Yeah, it's 2 more I want to talk about. So this first one, or the next one, Celtics Bulls -10. This line, of course, has come down from the 14 or 15, whatever that disrespectful number was. It looks like it is moving towards the Celtics. I'm seeing the 10s turn into 10.5s right now, some 11s. The total is moving up, 240.5. It is still 240.5, but I see a 241 on FanDuel as well. So, of course, these two teams also just matched up. The Celtics lost that game outright as a 14.5 point favorite last night. The The Celtics are not covering spreads. 3-7 against the number in their last 10 games. 1-5 against the number in their last 6 games. They are not covering. They're winning, most of them, but they're not covering at all. They do got Orlando up next. Then they got Philly. I think on Christmas Day. I want to say they play Philly on Christmas Day, but I know Boston got Orlando and Philly, so I want to say that's on Christmas Day. Chicago, don't look now. They've actually won 3 straight games. They beat Charlotte, they beat Toronto, and then they beat Boston. In Boston, this game will be played in Chicago. This Bulls team is 6-4 against the number in their last 10 games. They got a divisional game against the Milwaukee Bucks coming up on Monday, so that'll be a game that they want to get up for. When these two teams played yesterday, Sam Hauser missed that game and Josh Giddey missed the game. Giddey is listed as questionable, and Sam Hauser, of course, is listed as questionable. So we don't know if either one of those guys are going to play. This will be the third matchup of the season. The Bulls have actually covered both games. The first time they were getting 12 points as a dog, they lost the game by 9. The second time which was the game on Thursday, they were getting 14.5 and won that game outright by 9 points as a 14.5 point dog. When I was looking into just some trends in general, Boston is 5-0 straight up, 4-1 against the number, coming off a loss this season. So they typically bounce back in these spots. They're plus 17 in point differential following the loss. They typically win by margin. 4-1 to the under, which tells me that they typically take the defensive end a little bit more serious and lock in there. Going through the matchup, though, and if you guys watched the show that I did a couple nights ago, I said that, I thought the Bulls I didn't think that they were live to win the game, but I did think that I like the chances for Chicago. Kind of feels like they're flying underneath the radar a little bit. I talked about them playing some really good defense maybe like 4 games ago. And don't look now, the Bulls are top 10 defensive rated team in the NBA. No idea where that even came from. Bulls top 10 defensive rated team, holding teams to 110, less than 110 points per 100 possessions. Their opponent effective field goal percentage is 6th best. Giving up the 10th fewest rebounds, and they're also not sending teams to the free throw line. But the reason why I like Chicago plus the points in the last game, didn't pull the trigger, was because their 3-point defense has been so good. If we go back and look real quick, I'll pull this up real quick. The Celtics struggled to shoot the 3-point shot. And how else will the Celtics score under 110 points? It's always going to be because they shot like 5% from the 3-point line, which is, we know Boston going to live and die by the 3. They don't care. They shoot 50. Every other shot for Boston comes from the 3-point line. They got the highest 3-point percentage frequency in the NBA. Boston shot, I want to pull the number for you guys. They shot 56 threes in that game. They made 14. So, that's why the ratings are down in the NBA. They shot 25% from the 3-point line, did the Boston Celtics. And I just told you guys, this Chicago team is excellent at defending the 3-point line. Number 1 3-point defense in the NBA right now. And over the last 5 games, they are holding teams to 30.2% from the 3-point line. Above the break 3, 5th best percentage at 30.6%. So if you like the Celtics, I do think you like the under. I don't think the Bulls defense is magically just going to drop off that much. I think it'll be a little bit more of an under game, and the Celtics and the Bulls will, struggle to score the basketball in this spot. So I think, let's see real quick. What was the total in the last game? The total was 241.5. I think I like this one to continue to go under. It looks like it opened just a tad bit under, and that's the way that I would play it. I know that the Chicago Bulls play super fast. I know that the Boston Celtics will probably shoot a little bit better from the 3-point line, but the Celtics have also been playing some unders. 3 straight unders for them. Went under against Detroit, went under against the Wizards, went under against the Bulls. 4 of their last 5 games are going under. Went under against the Bucks. Only over they had came against Memphis, and that's because Memphis scored 127 points. That was also a 5th game in 7 nights for the Celtics. And then I mentioned the Bulls, playing a little bit better defense as well. 3 of their last 4 games have actually gone under the total as well. They continue to get these super inflated totals because they play with such pace, but I don't expect them to be able to shoot the ball as well. I do think Boston will be a little bit more locked in after losing this game outright. Also, I want to mention this real quick. Last part of the handicap. I didn't notice until after the game, but Jaylen Brown had a terrible game last game. He finished the game with just 19. He had finished with 19 points, but he shot 7 for 17 from the floor. He was a minus 19, 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. Finished with 4 assists and 3 rebounds. Had 3 turnovers, which led the team in turnovers. They only turned the ball over 4 times. He had 3 of them, which is crazy. His mom's house was actually broken into. Nobody. I don't know if it was reported before the game, but his Jaylen Brown's mom's house was actually broken into. He discussed it with the reporters after the game. So clearly his mom wasn't into the game. Maybe we get a little bit more effort here. He did play 36.5 minutes in the game. We'll see what happens with Jaylen Brown, but that was something that I thought was interesting of note. Probably would still be taking the points with the Bulls here, but I think I like the under in this game a little bit more than anything else. Haven't made a bet quite yet, though. If Hauser and Josh Giddey gets rolled in, hopefully the total goes up, and then maybe I'll take the under. But I do think the game goes under, and I'll be looking towards Boston to bounce back early. I think Chicago can cover the full game, but I will be looking towards Boston to bounce back early. All the teams that lost as a favorite that's playing the same team, like the Kings, the Celtics, the Dallas Mavericks, all of those teams I will be looking to play early. I do think they're in a primetime bounce back spot, specifically early in the game. Let's see. Josh Hart, fresh legs. Chappie says this might just be a trifecta spot. What else y'all saying about this one? Moneyball says, Chris, they are score averages and the division splits the points. Not sure what that means, Moneyball. He says Celtics win this one. Oh, they're scoring averages and split. Okay, got you. Okay. So they're scoring averages and split. Okay, individuals. Got you. Okay. All right, that makes sense, Moneyball. Appreciate you for explaining yourself. Had no idea what you was talking about. Nardo says he likes the over here. I would look a little bit more under. Vaughn says C's look uninterested in certain spots. They know that they can turn it on whenever they want to, but they can go on droughts, and against a really good defensive team, like I said, I'll be looking towards it. I do think they shoot better than 25% from the 3-point line. I don't think that's going to happen again. But even with that being said, they scored 108 points. If they shoot 30%, maybe they still only get to 115. And I think, like I said, defensively they'll be a little bit better here. The Bulls, could potentially be held under their 117 point score. They shot 37% from the 3-point line. Celtics 3-point defense could be a little bit better in my opinion. Moneyball says I may be a little on the Bulls for fun, but Celtics might be pissed. Could be. I ain't hear anything that said they would be pissed. What up, Mark? Appreciate you for tapping in. Munchie in here says, what's up, y'all? Late night show. All the gang in here for sure. Flywalker says Tatum first quarter points over. He likes. I would just look at Boston potentially first half team total too. If you're looking for a team total, I can see Boston first half team total getting there as well. All right, one more game I wanted to get to. I really wanted to go through Dallas and Clippers as well. I think the line is moving. It opened 2.5. It's up to 3.5, 4 now. Luka is already ruled out. Kyrie is off the injury report. He's going to be back. The Clippers, I failed to mention this on the last show, but the Clippers had playoff revenge outside of Luka and Kyrie both missing that game. So they took that game super serious, smoked the Dallas Mavericks, beat them by double digits in that last game. But shout out to Derek. He did cash on a PJ Washington up and over his points plus rebounds in that game. But let's move over to Pistons and Suns. I do think that this is an interesting game. And I think I got 226 on the screen for the total. Looks like it's coming down to 225.5. 6.5 is the spread. Looks like that's still about the same. So injury report here. Devin Booker did leave the last game. They just lost to the Pacers. They lost it. He left that game last night with a groin injury. Didn't return. He's already ruled out for tomorrow. Jaden Ivey didn't play on the opposite side for the Utah Jazz. He is listed as probable. To play in this game. Phoenix finally got Bradley Beal back, and then lost Devin Booker. They can't stay healthy to save their lives, man. This Phoenix Suns team is so injury prone. So looking at Detroit, they were 4.5-point home favorites, of course, to the Jazz. Gave up 48 points in the first quarter. Ended up losing that game outright. This does start a little mini West Coast road trip for them. They got the Lakers up next. The Pistons defensively have been god awful. They gave up 126 to the Jazz, of course, at home in their last game last night. 124 to the Miami Heat. Granted, it was in overtime. 123 to the Celtics. I think 130 to the Celtics. It's been a lot of overs if you like the Pistons. And you look at the Phoenix Suns, this is the third straight home game for them. As I mentioned, they were laying 6 points against the Indiana Pacers. Lost that game by 9 points outright. Big game ahead of them as well. They got the Denver Nuggets twice. They play them on Monday, and then they play them again on Christmas Day. Both games, I think, are in Denver. I want to say both games are in Denver. So they got 2 big games coming up. And the Phoenix Suns, and this is one of the reasons why I like the Pacers. I always talk about catching points with the Pacers versus laying. The Suns don't cover. Remember I said last game, I think I said that they were 2-6 against the spread as a home favorite. Now they're 2-7 against the spread as a home favorite. They've covered 1 of their last 7 games. And a lot of that had to do with Kevin Durant not being there. Kevin Durant's back. Devin Booker is now out. So, they're still going to be hurt a little bit in this spot. Phoenix, they lost to Indiana in that last game because they turned the ball over. I want to say real quick, I just want to give you guys some numbers real quick because this was one of the things I was thinking about when I was handicapping this game. Let me just find it real quick, and we'll get into a quick recap after I finish it. So in the game against the Pacers, the Phoenix Suns turned the ball over 16 times. And I forgot how many points it led to, but I saw the numbers. It was a lot of points that the Pacers ended up scoring off turnovers. Pacers also shot the ball really well from the three-point line, 39%, 16 of their 41 threes, and got to the free throw line a ton. Shot 31 free throws and hit 84% of those, which was 26 of those. The ball was moving. Tyrese Halliburton had 13 and 12 assists. They finished with 30 assists in that game. Here's the reason why Phoenix should bounce back even without Devin Booker. And I'm not saying that they're going to bounce back and cover. But, if we look at these two teams on paper, as I mentioned, Phoenix Suns they typically take care of the basketball. There's a big difference between them last year and this year, getting Tyus Jones, of course, to play the point guard position. Detroit don't force turnovers. Detroit, one of the worst defensive teams, and until I see them play defense, I think we could probably just play them up and over every single time. Phoenix, I think, will still be able to score the basketball. I think they're going to be able to get out, push the pace, score in transition. The Detroit defense is bottom 5 in opponent points scored per 100 possessions via transition baskets. So I feel like Phoenix is still going to be able to score the basketball. This is a top 5 3-point shooting team. Above the break 3 is 41% last 5 games. Overall 3-point accuracy is 41% as well. And Detroit is bottom 5. They cannot guard the 3-point line to save their lives. The Jazz just lit them up from 3. The Miami Heat lit them up from 3. The Boston Celtics lit them up twice from 3. The Bucks lit them up from 3 in the Cup game. Like, this is a really bad 3-point shooting team. And we always mention that when teams travel, don't have any time in between their games to kind of fix the things that they need to work on. It's no way I'm looking towards Detroit. Even though I don't want to take the later points with Phoenix, there's no way I'm looking towards Detroit. They can be a little Jekyll and Hyde with their offense, which is why we lost against the Boston Celtics, because they can go really, really dry. Who was it? It was Tim Hardaway Jr. Just his game log specifically. And being able to get his assist, which is something that I missed on the last time. He's one of those players, man. He's one of those players that can really, really, kill you if you want to take an over, or if you want to take Cade assists, or if you just want to take them to cover the spread. So Tim Hardaway Jr. shot 3 for 11 in the game against the Jazz. He had 8 points, shot 2 for 9 from the 3-point line. 2 for 9, 22%. Against the Miami Heat, when I had Miami minus 4.5, Tim Hardaway Jr. shot 5 for 10 from the 3-point line. Couldn't miss. 16 points, 5 for 10 from the 3-point line. Against the Boston Celtics, when I had the over in the game, couldn't make a shot. 3 for 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. Against the Knicks, 1 for 5. So it's the inconsistencies as far as everybody else around. The Detroit Pistons are not a great offense. They're a 25th offensive rated team last 5 games. They don't get a ton of offensive rebounds. no second chance points, and they turn the ball over at the third highest rate in the NBA. So I think Phoenix should be able to score in this game is what is overall what the consensus is, in my opinion. I think whatever their team total is, they should be able to get to. Maybe Detroit can keep up, maybe they won't, but I do think that, because Detroit doesn't force any turnovers, Phoenix should be able to score the basketball here. Let's see. Yeah, Phoenix team total 115.5. I think, or 116.5, depending on where you're shopping. I do think that they can score 117 against Detroit. Detroit could religiously give this number up. I also kind of feel like Detroit should be able to get to 109.5 as well, but I do need to look at some numbers with Devin Booker on and off the floor. That's what I'm thinking about this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking. I like the over. I do like the over, Jacob. It says over 224.5. Number already on the move, going up. I agree with that. TG says he likes Kyrie over 6.5 assists in that other game. Taking Jaden Ivey over his 1.5 threes. KD is in though, right, Mark? I ain't tripping. KD's in. Excuse me. They can't be laying 6.5 without KD and Devin Booker. I think it's just Devin Booker that's already been ruled out. I didn't see anything about Kevin Durant, unless I missed something. Now let me know if KD in. I think KD is in for tomorrow. It's hard enough to lay with them, anyway. Detroit's gonna end up getting a backdoor cover eventually. Detroit's been making me lose money, like a lot of money. Whether it's K assists, the over, like whatever I need them to do, they find a way to do the opposite. I don't even know how many potential assists K had yesterday, but I'm pretty sure it was 15, 16. Nobody could make a shot. I want to say, yeah, Kevin Durant's not ruled out though, Mark. I'm pretty sure he's not ruled out. But now you got me wanting to double check just to make sure, because you definitely can't play over. I don't think the total would go up if Kevin Durant was ruled out. Yeah, Kevin Durant's not on the injury report at all. I'm looking at it right now. Jaden Ivey, injury, illness, and inflammation in his left knee. Isaiah Stewart out, injury, illness, left knee, hyperextension sprain. Bol Bol's is questionable. Devin Booker is out. Devin Booker being out, I think actually brings in, I'm glad Mark mentioned this, I think that gives Dunn a few more minutes. And Dunn he's solid. I like Dunn a lot. Defensively, he's really good. Offensively, he can stretch the floor, shoot the 3-point shot. So that, I think that leads itself to a little bit more of an under game. I was looking through Dwayne Rockins' analysis of his little article that he writes up after the game for the Arizona Central. He covers the team, and he was saying that, he didn't understand why Dunn only played a few minutes in that game. And most of the minutes he played came after Devin Booker got hurt. So we'll see. Mike Budenholzer over there not coaching him up right, man. You got to get Dunn on the floor. You need Dunn, in my opinion, here. Let's see. Joe says, think it's a big number without Booker. Plus, since 2010, away dogs in the first half of the season with the win percentage below 40 and with the win percentage below 30 and 40 off a loss that lost both matchups in the previous season, 49, 27, and 2 against the number. So Pistons cover here, says Joe. Okay. That's a super long trend, Joe. A super long trend. Joe says just take the over 224.5. At least Suns can put up points and not play defense. I think the Suns can play defense though. I think that scares me off the total, if I'm being honest, Jacob. If I think that Dunn is going to play more and Devin Booker is going to be out, that's better defense. And Devin Booker is a pretty good defender, but that's less offense and it's better defense. So that scares me off the total. But you got a really good number at 224.5. I think you got a really good number. KD over his rebounds for Fly Walker. He likes KD over his rebounds and assists as well. Pistons to cover. Okay. Okay. All right. That's it, man. That's it. Was that it? There's a couple games I know I didn't go over. And the games I didn't go over was because of the injury report. It was one more thing I wanted to share with you guys, too. It was on the total for the first game, so we'll go back there real quick. So let me double check real quick. So the games that I didn't talk about for tomorrow are didn't go over Utah, Brooklyn. No idea. Like, really don't care. Like, probably won't even. I don't even know how much I'm gonna handicap that game, honestly. Utah is the better team in my opinion. But they won a game, so they probably don't want to win too many more, especially back to back. I think they could beat Brooklyn though. I really do. Brooklyn coming off a win where they got they got a Toronto team kind of sleeping. Was without Jakob Poeltl and RJ Barrett, ended up getting ruled out in that game. Davion Mitchell also got ruled out. Scotty Barnes first game back. I'm not laying points with Brooklyn. It's crazy to think I want to take points with the Jazz too, but yeah, I'll probably be looking towards the Jazz. Also didn't mention Wizards and the Bucks. No idea what's going to happen with Dame, if he's going to come back off the calf injury. Man, I kind of want to take the Wizards, though, if I'm being honest. I think the Wizards have covered 3 straight games. They won outright against Charlotte. 11.5 is a lot. The Bucks also got to travel from Cleveland tonight. Wizards kind of catch them in a gullible spot. Maybe Dame gets ruled in. The Wizards are a lot healthier now with Corey Kispert coming back. I know Kyle Kuzma's already ruled out. Jordan Poole kind of balling. The Bucks did win the first game, but I think the Wizards covered that game. I think the Bucks were laying 14.5. They only won the game by 10, I want to say, the last time that those two teams played. They beat them 114 to 10. Was it 116 to 106 or something like that? I know we played. It was on a Saturday as well, and we played the Wizards team total under, and the Bucks was out there lollygagging, just going through the motions, and allowed the Wizards to go up and over their team total. The Wizards weren't even fully healthy at that point, I don't think. Didn't touch on Philly and Cleveland either. Not probably staying off of that game. I know that Joel Embiid is ruled out. Paul George is expected to play. No idea what that really means. Cleveland also, kind of played with their food a little bit after. I'm sorry, the Philadelphia 76ers, if you guys watched that game earlier, kind of played with their food a little bit after getting out to, I think it was almost a 20-point lead in the first quarter. You see the Hornets shorthanded, second leg of back-to-back. Still, go in there, and the game was close. It was within 2 or 3 possessions with about 5 or 6 minutes left. They just kind of ran out of gas. But Philly, like I said, they're not a great offensive team, so probably be looking towards Philly team total to go under in that spot. And I want to say that's the only game I didn't touch on. And Portland and San Antonio, probably not touching. I don't know what I'm doing that game either. So those are the games that I didn't go through. If I had a top look for tomorrow, just kind of based on what we were talking about, Chad put Desmond Bane over his 2.5 threes. I do like that look a lot for tomorrow. I think you probably want to get ahead of the line right now. Even if Ja Morant plays or if he doesn't play, I do think that that's a line that he can exceed. Desmond Bane up and over his 2.5 threes. As far as the other things that we talked about, I said I like the overs. I'm sorry, I said I like the teams that lost the first game to bounce back early. This Kings line is moving. I see 6.5 now in favor of the Kings, with Anthony Davis and LeBron James being questionable. So I know the first halves are probably not out on most sports books, but let's see what we can find real quick. We don't got a Lakers first half number. It should be Lakers Kings should be probably 3.5. That's the way I would look, is Kings first half against the number, especially if LeBron is not going to play. Should be a quick revenge bounce back spot for the Kings. So I'll be playing Sacramento first half minus the 3.5, I guess, is probably going to be the number. Same thing for the other teams as well. Boston, I think first half, typical bounce back spot for them. Minus should be 5.5. I do think that that's a good number. Also like that game to go under. The Lakers game I like to go under. Not sure what the total is. Even without knowing the status of LeBron and AD, I do think that total goes under. 220 looks like it's going up, so I would wait. Lakers Kings under looks like 228 is the best number you could get. Also, so that's a matinee start time. We got to remember that as well. That game will start at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Those two teams both play on West Coast time zone. The game will be in Sacramento, but that'll be 4 o'clock. 4 hours before their normal body clock times. So I was looking into that, right? Games that start Just since the 2020 season, I didn't mention this trend, but I was looking into it. Since the 2020 season, when you got a game that starts, matinee start before, the regular 7 o'clock hour, if it's a divisional game, 10-2 to the under. Games stand under by 9.5 points. The total's already set lower. I gave you guys that trend. Probably one of my favorite bets for tomorrow is the under between the Lakers and the Kings. 10-2 to the under is this trend if it's a matinee start and it's a divisional game. A lot of these games stand under. It looks like 7 of the last 8 have actually stayed under the total. What else did we talk about? We talked about Memphis and Atlanta. I can't play it without knowing the status of those guys. Miami and Orlando, I think under in that spot is the right one. Not going to add it to the short list, though. I do think Golden State and Minnesota under. I do think that's the right play as well. Golden State offense has been terrible. Minnesota will want to bounce back as well. Both teams coming off bad losses. We'll add that one here. 215 right now is available on Hard Rock. It looks like that is... No, you can get some 215 and a halves out there on Bally Bet. Contacts getting dry. So Golden State, Minnesota under 214 and a half. And I'd be remiss. Karl Anthony Towns over, what was the number? 17 and a half rebounds and assists. Like I said, I got a little bit more digging to do, but these are the ways that I would probably look to play the games early. I really want to figure out how to play Detroit and Phoenix too, though, if I'm being honest with you guys. As much as I like the total, I thought I liked the total up and over. When I'm thinking about Dunn being on the floor and Devin Booker being off, I don't like the total to go up and over as much. I do think that Phoenix is going to score. I'm always hesitant with Detroit. Can they bring 110 points to the party? Sometimes it's like asking them to bring, a lot to the party, and they can just really struggle offensively. Phoenix could, potentially bounce back after, giving up a ton of points to the Indiana Pacers in their last game. So we'll see how it goes, man. I'll sleep on it. If I do a show in the morning, it'll probably be super early. My son got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow, so I'll do a little bit more research and we'll talk about the games again tomorrow. Probably have some official plays in the morning. Let's see. Jazz 119 to 119 to the Jazz. Okay. It is a funky time as that. Been betting super small. Even today, I lost the bet on Bam. It was a half unit play, and I'm pissed like I lost 5 units. I just hate losing, man. Hate losing. Logan says, usually listening at work and don't comment. Tell the Charlotte plus the spread and Cavs money line for a parlay. Good, consistent analysis and content. Appreciate that, bro. I'm glad you cashed. Brian says Cavs minus first half -6. I could see Cavs minus first half -6 tomorrow for sure. DiMaitro says Bane threes. I like it. Town boards. I like it. Appreciate you, Mark, for tapping in. We'll talk. We'll chat tomorrow. I do got a lot of stuff going on, so I'll go through these games in a little bit more detail, and we'll be back on here in the morning, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. All the referral codes for things that I use, I talked about jaXon at the beginning, are listed here. They're also in the description of the video. You guys can click the links if you want to check them out. 50% off of jaXon using the discount code ChrisBeCappinn with 2 P's, 2 N's. Same thing for Money Baller. Get all your trends, all of your situational spots. And then Outlier, referral link in the video. You can get the 7-day free trial if you use the link in the video. Don't play anything. And if you like it, keep it. If you don't keep it. Odds Jam on here as well, 20% off. I use the Sportsbook screen page for people that are interested. Best of luck on whatever it is that you do play, man, tomorrow. Remember, you do what you want to do, but I'm kind of, keeping it light until probably all the way up until Christmas. And then if it's a Christmas spot that I really, really like, maybe I'll, move on it then. I will say this. Last thing I'll mention. So the Lakers got the Warriors on Christmas Day. The Warriors are laying 4.5 points right now. I don't know how much I agree with that. Not with the way that the Warriors are playing right now. Laying 4.5 points. I think if AD and Bron don't play tomorrow, or just Bron don't play tomorrow, I don't think the Lakers got another game until Christmas Day. I don't know if I necessarily agree. I think that 4.5 might be gone. I think that 4.5 could absolutely be gone for Christmas Day. Just some thoughts. Best of luck, man. If you guys are playing anything tomorrow, like I said, it's 11 games on the board, bunch of funky spots, bunch of unmotivated teams, but always still trying to find some cash. I hope you guys cash whatever it is that you do play. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your night.